From college send-offs to retirement dreams, life is filled with many important milestones. And making sure you have a plan in place to protect the people you love can give you confidence for whatever comes next. State Farm Life Insurance can help protect your family's financial well-being through life's milestones. Your State Farm agent can help you choose flexible coverage you can adjust as your family's needs change. Contact your local State Farm agent today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Hear updates on the national and local Utah real estate markets. We cover residential and commercial properties. Plus, get inspiring ideas to make your house a home from our sponsor, Osmond Designs. Here's Heather Osmond and Jeff Kaplan on KSL News Radio.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of the Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores. And today we are missing Jeff Kaplan. Jeff is out having some grandbabies. He has twin girls. So shout out to Jeff, who's going to be listening to our show today. We miss you. We can't wait to have you back next week. However, today we have one of the most respected voices in the luxury real estate joining us, Thomas Wright, with Summit Sotheby's International Realty. Welcome back, Thomas.
Oh, it's so great to be here. I'm sad Jeff's not here, but you know what? We'll fill in for him.
I just saw some pictures of those incredible, beautiful little twin girls.
It doesn't get any better than that. Those are the best days of life. Those little babies and little piece of heaven comes into your life and gives you good perspective.
I have a little FOMO. I don't have any grandkids yet, so I can't wait for that.
I'm soon to be a grandpa, if you can believe that. I'm happy about that. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, Thomas, so I'm so excited to have you on the show today because there's so much happening in real estate right now, and specifically in Utah. And I feel like people are hearing mixed messages. Some headlines say the market is slowing down, and others say the opportunities are opening up. So let's start right here. What is really happening in Utah real estate market right now?
Both of those are true. It is slowing down, and there are opportunities. We've shifted from a momentum market to a decision market. So real estate's not crashing, it's recalibrating, and we're moving from a space where speed was the primary strategy, and now strategy has to be top of mind for both buyers and sellers. So the market's rewarding preparation and not optimism. We went from a market where people were speculative and they were trading on optimism to one where you have to be realistic and you have to be prepared. If you're a seller and if you're a buyer, you have to be prepared so that you're cashing in on the recalibration on either side of the transaction.
I think so too. It feels like we're in a moment where buyers are watching more closely than ever. A lot of people are sitting on the sidelines. Other people are getting in the game. This week, Thomas, I'll share a story. Yeah. I have been trying to buy a commercial building for about 15 years. I've had my eye on this. I've contacted them probably every 6 months. Would you be interested in selling? And they're like, no. Well, just 2 days ago, I received a phone call and they said, hey, we're interested in selling. And of course, I said, I will have an offer to you in the next hour.
Good for you.
Done deal, signed. I cannot wait. So there are always great deals. Oftentimes they're off market. It's just who you know. Thomas, you were right in the thick of all of that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's really two real estate markets now. There's the general real estate market and there's a luxury real estate market, and it's bifurcated in Utah. The luxury market used to be primarily the Park City area, but now across the state of Utah, you see a bigger luxury real estate market. And in those cases, those particular clients really value privacy and security. And because of that, you see a lot of those trade off market because they're not comfortable with photos of their master bedroom and the interiors of their home just plastered all over the internet for AI and everybody to see. So it is a changing world that we live in. And with that change is the shifting, recalibrating real estate market that's really undergoing significant change right now.
Absolutely. If you're a buyer, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity if you know how to navigate it, though. And knowing people like you, Thomas, is so valuable.
Well, and we have some of the best real estate advisors. I'm really proud of our advisors at Summit Sotheby's International Realty. They really are prepared. And I said that earlier. It's a market where it rewards preparation and not optimism. And the best thing you can do if you're a buyer or seller is have a professional that's not emotional, that's prepared, that knows the market, and that can keep you grounded and help you make a good decision. Whether you get emotional about a property and you're being optimistic, that can cost you a lot of money. And so, you know, there are strategies, there's ways to navigate this market, but professional representation has never been more valuable than it is right now.
I agree. How are interest rates shaping behavior?
Yeah, rates didn't break the market, but they changed the behavior inside of it. There are people that are a little less rate sensitive. People that have more liquidity tend to be a little bit less rate sensitive. But it did eliminate some options for some buyers. The buyers didn't disappear, but they had to become more disciplined. They have to watch price points more carefully. They have to look at improvements through a different lens. And they just view properties in a different way than they did coming out of that sugar high of COVID that we had. So the higher rates really are just filtering out speculation, and they're rewarding serious buyer behavior. So again, if you're prepared and you have a strategy and you know what you can afford, you'll be rewarded for that when you make an offer, because you can be a disciplined buyer that can articulate your position on a property.
For sure. Do you feel like luxury buyers are playing by different rules? A lot of them are cash buyers, right?
Yeah, a lot of cash buyers. I would say about 2/3, 60 to 65% are cash buyers. I think a lot of those people refinance after they close inside their portfolios. And you don't really know when that's happening, from our perspective in the real estate transaction. But there's more cash buyers now than there's ever been. But those cash buyers are more disciplined than they've ever been. And so a lot of sellers list their properties at all price points, and they list on this optimism, this speculative optimism that we had during COVID and that sugar high. And they think, somebody with cash will just come in and buy. But the cash buyers are more disciplined than they've ever been. So there's a real disconnect with sellers who are too optimistic, and the buyers that feel the leverage that they have and are more disciplined and more prepared and use that cash position to their advantage.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm a real estate investor. I own some shopping centers, some commercial properties, some furniture stores.
I should be interviewing you.
No, it's so fun. I love doing the show. But I also do interior design. So I get to hobnob and talk to so many people in Utah, not only starter homes, but also luxury homes and anything in between. We do a lot of model homes and some different things, but the overall story I hear over and over is people are waiting for rates to go down and to drop. And during that time, one specifically said that they were waiting for this specific home, but the home actually went up in value over $150,000 while they were waiting for the interest rates to drop. So then it really hit me, people don't lose in real estate because of the timing of the rate. They lose because of the hesitation. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. I mean, you have to balance it into the whole equation, right? Waiting for interest rates to come down is probably a fool's errand right now. And it is because of the fundamentals, the economic fundamentals that drive interest rates. There's always the unforeseen things that happen, big historic events, unpredictable things in the world that can change rates in an instant. And I don't discount that. But if you eliminate all of those and you just look at the fundamentals of interest rates, they're driven by liquidity in the markets. And when you have the Federal Reserve and their balance sheet has $10 trillion on it, and a big percentage of that is mortgage-backed securities at low interest rates, those people are sitting on those homes. They can't move up and down the housing ladder because they have to keep the interest rate that they have. So that keeps rates high because they're not liquidating those and liquidating that cash to be relent. And then the second part of that is our national spending. People don't correlate this, but the reckless behavior of our Congress in just operating with no budget. We haven't had a budget since 1998. It's continuing resolution after continuing resolution. They're $2 trillion deficit every year. All that goes somewhere. That debt goes somewhere. And where it goes is to liquidity and the ability for more money to be lent. So I don't know when the public will finally reach a tipping point and throw everybody out of Congress and send some responsible people to actually do the job. But until they get to that breaking point, Congress is just going to keep doing it because apparently a lot of people don't really they don't correlate it with how it's affecting their everyday life. They think it's just the dysfunction of DC. It doesn't have anything to do with them, but it's dramatically affecting their lives. And at some point, you will reach a point where people will say, we've had enough of this. It's affecting us too much. But if you understand the drivers of interest rates, I think it's pretty easy to conclude that you're not going to see much interest rate improvement in the near term.
I agree. I feel like real estate doesn't crash in great markets. Even in Utah, it pauses, resets, and then moves higher. One thing I've noticed is that buyers really are more selective about the homes that they're buying. They either love it or they just move on because there's plenty to choose from. How do people, let's say a seller, how do they set themselves apart to be able to have more people into their homes? You're in this market, specifically Park City. How do you make yourself different so that you get the buyers that you need?
The Park City market's a good example. And We have offices at Salt Lake, Draper, Southern Utah, Moab, all along the Wasatch Front. And really, the big thing that's changed is how we launch properties. The old school version was, let's get it on the market, let's get it on the MLS. The first 3 weeks of a listing at any price point are the most valuable days on the market. Every day that passes from day 1 to day 25, you're losing leverage in the market. And what we've seen in Utah is if you take one price revision, you're getting about 10% less than if you don't. So getting your price properly priced and positioned in the market correctly and launching when you're prepared is critical. So you can't just put a property on the market. You got to do the work ahead of time. And if you hire a Summit Sotheby's International Realty advisor, they know the procedure and the process to get a property ready. And it actually creates a larger return on investment for our clients, because we see a lot of people just put properties on the market and they're losing money by doing that. They're not doing it correctly. It's really changed.
Yes, and you can make more money in real estate than you can almost in any other subset right now.
Yeah, it's the American dream, right?
It's
that we
the
can
American
own
dream.
real estate and we can participate in that. That's always been foundational principle of our country.
Absolutely. If you are not in the market, it is time to call Thomas Wright, Summit Sotheby's International Realty, his team. Stay tuned. You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. We'll be right back.
We're back with the KSL Real Estate Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores, and also a real estate investor. I love doing this show with Jeff Kaplan. Today, he's out being a grandpa to 2 beautiful, brand new baby girls. They're in New Jersey. So, Jeff, if you're listening, or since you're listening, we miss you. We can't wait to see you next week. However, today I am joined by Thomas Wright. He's one of our KSL regulars, one of the top real estate agents in the state of Utah. He's representing Summit Sotheby's International Realty, specifically in the Park City area.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thanks for having me on. I miss Jeff, but it's great to be with you.
So much fun. Thomas and I could talk for hours about real estate. Always a good time. But first and foremost, we have to give a shout out to Central Bank. They are the sponsor of this show, and they are one of the most incredible banks in the entire state of Utah, with locations all across the Wasatch Front. They are trusted bankers and loyal friends of Utah, and they offer all of the loans that you will need: commercial loans, new construction loans, residential loans, industrial loans, everything. And they have a kids savings plan, which is pretty cool. So get your kids
small
saving.
banking vibe is so important in a transaction.
It's the best.
I've had people, like, I don't want to name names, but those big online lenders that tell you they're going to beat you the rate, and then they don't beat it. We can't find anyone. We can't track anyone down. When you go with a local bank, we can walk in. They want to take care of the people that are living in their backyard. I'm a big fan.
I'm a big fan too. And they have loan committees on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh.
So you can get really quick approvals, which is absolutely incredible. Okay, Thomas, moving forward. Number one, why is Utah so strong, Thomas? You are in the thick of it.
Yeah, Utah is good. It's one of the best real estate markets in the country, and it continues to outperform because the fundamentals are really good. Job growth, immigration, the quality of life are real demand drivers for people. But I see a point here in the state of Utah where things are really good. Like we've grown. There's a lot of demand. People love Utah. We're on the radar. But we got to do the things that got us here. We got to keep doing those things, and we got to keep that day one mentality. Like, this is the first day we've ever done it. We cannot rest on these laurels, because you've seen certain organizations that migrated to Utah and they've kind of migrated out. Like, we're starting to see some of those presences diminish. So we've got to deal with our growth issues in a much more robust way if we want to continue to be where we are right now. But Utah does well because people love living here. The people that live here love to stay, and a lot of people from outside of Utah are moving in because of the quality of life, good tax structure, great place to be, and a lot of fabulous people.
Why do you think people are staying here? I mean, I want my kids to be here.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Utah's one of those places where people just grow up here. They have an affinity for it. They like the lifestyle. They like the access. They like the diversity of southern Utah and the red rocks and slot canyons of southern Utah. And they love the granite peaks of the Cottonwood Canyons, and skiing and snowboarding and the hiking and fishing. And there's so many things in between those. So people just really love and appreciate Utah. And once you've lived here, it's really hard to go somewhere else.
It's so true. This last week, I spent some time in New York City. My mom is part of the Jeans Golden Girls Dancing Grandma group. And they flew them out to New York and they performed at the New York Nets halftime. And it was the Indiana Pacers, against the New York Nets. And I loved New York, but I was ready to go back home. I couldn't wait to go back through the Salt Lake airport. It was just, night and day over JFK. And just the quality of life here, it's just unmatched to anything that's out there in the world. It is unmatched.
The people are just so amazing. Like, we're number one in volunteerism. We care about our community. People get out and make a difference. We've welcomed people from all over the world, all over the country. It's just a great place to live. And like I said, the lifestyle is really good, but we do have growth issues. So I want to be optimistic and positive, but I also want to be realistic. We need to make sure that the leaders of the state continue to focus on what got us here and continue to do those things while simultaneously dealing with big time growth issues.
Absolutely.
Water, traffic. Our schools continue to be a challenge. We've just got to, there's a lot of opportunity for improvement despite Utah doing so well. I just think we shouldn't compare ourselves to states that aren't doing well and say we're doing well. We should compare ourselves to ourselves and how much better we could be doing if we took on some of these issues.
For sure. We've seen families move here from California, from Texas, from New York, and they always say we have more space. Homes are so inexpensive here. There's a better quality of life. And we actually feel like we can breathe again. I feel like when I drive to Park City, I can breathe a little better. It's weird.
Yes, these canyons and these roads. I mean, the drives in Utah are unbelievable. There's Huntington Canyon or driving down through Kanab or up in northern Utah, Box Elder County. I mean, they're all 29 counties of Utah just have so much beauty and so much appeal.
What are the hot spots right now for investors or for people wanting to move to these spaces?
Well, Park City has experienced a tremendous growth. Obviously, there's some drivers there, one of which the Salt Lake International Airport, one of the newest airports in the country, easy access, close proximity to Park City. And then in Park City, you've had the East Village of Deer Valley come online with an incredible developer that came in and had a great master plan and did it the right way. And that doubled the terrain of Deer Valley, the number one ski resort in North America. And Sheila Hall with our organization is the exclusive listing agent of the real estate in the East Village of Deer Valley. And whether it's the Grand Hyatt or the Four Seasons that's under construction or the Waldorf that was just announced, I mean, those are big time drivers and are attracting people in increasing numbers.
And I love when these outside investors are spending so much money in our communities because it helps all of us. It elevates this entire state.
Yeah, many days when I drive to Park City, the cars surrounding me going up I-80, Parley's Canyon are, people, contractors, subcontractors, people that rely on these jobs. And every time I drive up and I see all these people driving up, I think, man, we're just so lucky to live in a state that's got this kind of growth. And you're right, these kinds of people coming in and investing in our state.
And Utah definitely feels different than the rest of the country. At Osmond Designs, I'm always seeing people design homes around how they want to live as well as what looks good. We have some of the largest influencer community in the entire country. People are always saying we're driving design, we're driving new home styles, architecture, all the leading trends seem to be focused on Utah. I don't think a lot of the reality shows are helping that as much, but there's really good things coming out of Utah, and it only helps all of us and our real estate values.
Yeah, and you've done a great job with the design part of that, so I have to applaud you and your firm. But one of the things that I see is people really want more versatility with their properties. That's one of the trends that we're seeing. Libraries that can double as bunk rooms and gyms that could double as extra bedrooms. People really love coming in and seeing a property in a way that they want to use it. So those people that are constructing new properties, versatility is something that we see as a real emerging trend.
Today we have Thomas Wright from Summit Sotheby's on the show with us. You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Hear updates on the national and local Utah real estate markets. We cover residential and commercial properties. Plus, get inspiring ideas to make your house a home from our sponsor, Osmond Designs. Here's Heather Osmond and Jeff Kaplan on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores. Today we have Thomas Wright on the show with us. Welcome back, Thomas.
Great to be here.
You're a regular on the show and definitely one of our most favorite Park City real estate agents and experts in this industry. You're always up there in the trenches, dealing in the luxury home market. You know what's going on in this state, and I love having you. How did you get into this market?
I just always loved real estate. I had an affinity for it, and I love people. And residential real estate is about, entering people's homes and their lives and dealing with usually their biggest investment and where their babies were born and where their kids were married or where they fell in love or where they started their business. Homes are so intimate to people. And so dealing with the human element really appealed to me. And then you combine that with the real estate aspect. And for me, it was just a perfect fit. I've enjoyed it every day I've done it.
Utah is such a unique market, and specifically Park City. What makes it so different?
Utah's a different place because it offers so much diversity. Right, you have a great urban population along the Wasatch Front. So you have the arts, which are so important. Utah Symphony, Utah Opera, Ballet West. Got to give a shout out. Those are such incredible organizations. And you have the concert venues, and then you got the sports. The Utah Mammoth NHL coming to Salt Lake City's been big. Got the sports entertainment district going in. We've got a new airport. We just have so much going on in the urban core. But then you can venture out into rural Utah. And what you find out there is just this incredible lifestyle and these fabulous people and these diverse landscapes that are just breathtaking. And it doesn't matter, like I said, if it's in northern Utah or in southern Utah or anywhere in between, eastern, western, it's all unbelievable. And then we have world-class skiing and mountain recreation. So when you combine all those things, Utah is just a really unique place, and people have recognized it, and they're coming because of all of that.
Yeah, what price points are moving right now?
Yeah, it's interesting. The lower price points, and we have offices all over Utah. We view luxury as an experience, not a price point. So we enjoy selling properties at all price points. The lower price points are in high demand, so they do really well. They have to be correctly positioned. They don't just fly off the shelf, but there's a lot of buyers and they're waiting for that inventory. And then the luxury space at the higher price points has done well. The properties in the middle, probably, the 1.8 to 4 million I've seen a little softening and a little slowing. There's more inventory there and there's less buyers than we've seen in the past. But overall, it's a good market. But in Utah, I say it's a precision market. It's not a forgiving market. Don't go on the market with an aspirational price. Don't go on the market when you're not ready. Make sure all your ducks are in a row, and it's more than just photos. Contact a Summit Sotheby's International Realty agent. They'll tell you what to do, but be precise, be intentional. You're not going to get a second chance, and if you miss, it's really unforgiving.
It's so true. Recently, there was a lot of talk about Sundance leaving Park City. How big of a deal is that for real estate
in that area? It's never been a big real estate driver, truthfully. It's an industry event. The film industry comes in. It was great to have them. I know it was big for local businesses.
Yeah, those restaurants probably killed
the restaurants.
It, right?
I mean, it was big, and my heart hurts for them. But it wasn't a great real estate driver. It was largely a hospitality-driven thing. I'm sure some nightly rentals, people that have those did well on it. But they didn't, it wasn't a big real estate event where people came in and wanted to buy real estate because they were here. So from that perspective, it's not a huge loss, but it's a big loss from other perspectives for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I've seen buyers walk into homes, they look at the view and they say, this is it. And that decision isn't always about numbers. It's about emotion, specifically in the luxury real estate market, right? They've been saving all their money. They just want what they want, and they don't oftentimes care how much it costs.
Yeah, I think that's true of all buyers at all price points. You save your money, you want to buy a property, you start looking, and then one takes your breath away. It's the right fit. And that's when discipline kicks in. And that's when a real estate advisor can really help you because they're going to be less emotional. They're going to be more tactical and strategic. And they're going to have techniques and skills and experience that are going to help you navigate that process to keep the numbers front and center and keep the emotion at the back. And then when you close on it, you can be as emotional as you want to be. But emotion's expensive in real estate when you don't have proper representation and you're not prepared and you don't understand the numbers.
I hate that. Emotion is expensive.
It's expensive.
Can be very expensive. And I feel like Park City isn't just a market. It's really a brand these days.
It's a brand.
It's cool.
It's world class.
For sure.
You just go up there and look and just, I mean, the scenery, the people, the businesses, there's just so much to love about it. But there's growth issues. And it's like I said in the earlier segment, we have got to be serious about our growth issues because they'll continue to worsen. And as they worsen, we're not invincible. Nobody is. And as well as Utah's done, and as much as we love it, and as amazing as Park City and other areas, all the areas of Utah are, you can't take that for granted. You got to be on your toes, and you got to be looking around the bend and trying to figure out how to keep it on top. They always say brilliant. Getting there is easier than staying there.
It's so true.
We're there. How do we stay there is the question. So
true. If a home doesn't create emotion and it doesn't sell for top dollar, I feel like design is no longer an option. It's really a strategy. How do sellers position themselves to get top dollar these days?
I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is they look at the sold comparables and they price off solds, but really the exercise is about looking at what you're competing against. And a good advisor in any local market will know the active inventory, what you're competing against, and how you stack up against that, and how you position your particular property that maybe has some deficiencies against that competition. Because that's really what it is for us as real estate advisors, is how do we position your property to get a premium against what we're competing against? Because buyers are going to come in, they're going to look at everything. And then the question is, what are they going to buy? And you can influence that decision if you're a seller or a listing agent by the way you prepare and position a property, what its perceived value is, and playing into its strengths. Sometimes it's owning and leaning into the weaknesses and just being outright open about them and talking them through. So every property's different, but you got to have an experienced person that knows how to do all of that and can see the totality, keep the emotion out of it, and then be present and intentional and aggressive and compassionate about protecting your interests.
Well, and I think just time is everything too, right? What's your timing? What's your urgency versus, hey, I'm here for a little while and I can do some DIYs or do some fixing up and updating to get the most money out of your property.
Yeah, and I think one of the most expensive things people say, from my perspective, is when clients say, well, I don't need to sell. I'm not in a hurry. I just want to test the market. That's a bad strategy. The days on the market now are aggregated. The history of properties is all over the internet on multiple third-party sites. It's not just on the MLS where you can reset days on the market by coming off and then going back on. So, for sellers that are contemplating a move, talk to a real estate advisor about what the value is. And if it's not where you want it to be, hold off. But testing the market just for the sense of testing it to see if somebody's willing to come in and overpay is a bad strategy right now. It's really unforgiving.
What are some tips for buyers that are shopping right now?
Yeah, preparation. It's all about preparation. If you want to go fast as a buyer, then you've got to start slow. That's what I always tell them. We got to get our ducks in a row. We got to know what your parameters are, and then we need to be disciplined. So sitting down, talking through the financial readiness of a buyer, whether they're obtaining financing or they're liquidating assets, being ready, because inevitably opportunities pop up and it rewards people who are ready and can move quickly. And I think the big mistake buyers make is they go out and look at properties and they're not ready. And then they see something and they can't get their ducks in a row fast enough to compete and they lose out on it. So for me, I always tell my buyers, like, I know it's more exciting to go look at properties, but let's sit down for an hour or two and talk it through and tell me what your parameters are so I can look out for your interests. Tell me what you're looking for. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. And then let's talk about how we're going to perform when we find the perfect property for you, because we're going to be in a competition and we want to win. And the only way we're going to win is if we're prepared. So for me, it's all about the fundamentals of preparation.
I love that. And I love being just competitive, right? Going in and having someone who has your back, that's a great negotiator, that has some experience behind them, that is invested in you. Like you just said, tell me about your family. Let me know how your lifestyle is so that I can help you find the right home that best fits that. I feel like this is really a window of opportunity for buyers. They have more leverage right now than they've probably had in years. And a smart buyer actually may win twice, once on price now and again when the market appreciates. You don't want to wait to buy real estate. You buy real estate and wait. I love that quote. I heard it just within the last couple of weeks and I thought it was brilliant. I'll repeat it one more time. You don't wait to buy real estate. You buy real estate and wait. And I really believe that there are great deals at any market. It doesn't matter if it's high. It doesn't matter if it's low. If you're shopping, there are great deals to be found.
There are. And you're right. I mean, you've never met anybody that said they didn't wish they still owned every piece of real estate they ever bought. And the reason is that appreciation. It's still a fabulous way to build wealth. There's a lot of tax advantages to it. And there's some new tax advantages that were in the big, beautiful bill for people that want to buy investment properties. There's accelerated depreciation. There's cost segregation. There's a lot of great tax strategies. And I think if people knew more about those, they'd be buying more investment properties, because when you can take all the depreciation or most of it up front, you can offset a lot of taxes. And so I'm not a tax expert. I'm not here to talk taxes. But if that piques your curiosity, talk to your tax professional about cost segregation and the changes in the big, beautiful bill, because they're significant.
Thomas, and I don't know about you, but I kick myself every day for not buying more real estate. Just within the last couple of years, when interest rates were in the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, now they're in the 6s. And, maybe a year from now we'll be saying, why didn't we buy more when they were in the 6s? And I'm in the industry.
Yeah, some people jokingly say you buy the real estate. You what do they say? They say you're dating the interest rate, but you're marrying the property.
Yeah.
And I don't love that, because interest rates may not go down. I don't want anyone to buy. I don't sell somebody on, I'll just buy, rates will come down, because they may not come down. But if you're buying well and you can afford it, and you know that real estate's not a liquid asset, and you're willing to buy and hold it, I don't think there's any other vehicle in this country that's proven to have more appreciation over time.
Thomas Wright with Summit Sotheby's International Realty. How do people find you, Thomas?
Oh, our advisors are all over the state of Utah. They're the best of the best, and we love properties at all price points. You can find us online. You can find us on social media channels, Summit Sotheby's International Realty. You can call our office. It's 435-649-1884. Give us a call. We'll make things easy for you. Low pressure. We're just all about coming in and saying, how can we be valuable for you? And if we can be valuable, hire us. And if we can't, we'll be friends anyway, and we'll move on. So it's a really low pressure, high quality experience. You're
listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We're back with the KSL Real Estate Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores. Today we have Thomas Wright with Summit Sotheby's International Realty on the show. Welcome back, Thomas.
Thank you for having me.
If you are just joining us, you've missed out, because we have had 3 incredible segments with Thomas, and we have had so much free advice. The expert advice from one of the all-time best in the state of Utah, Thomas. So please go back and listen to that on KSL Radio, the podcast. It will be replayed there, and you will definitely want to hear that. However, Thomas, previously, you launched my curiosity. Tell me about launching a listing. Give us a little more advice and tips and tricks on how to do that if you're thinking of selling a home.
Yeah, I think in years past, sellers hired a listing agent and they took pictures and then they put it on the MLS and they just got to work. But we've taken a refined, sophisticated approach to launching listings, because the first 3 weeks on the market are the most critical. They're your best opportunity to capture the new and waiting buyers that are most emotional, that are willing to pay the most. And so if you miss those 3 weeks, you really put yourself at a disadvantage. So like I said in the previous segment, if you want to go fast, meaning get your property on the market and sell it for maximum value, then you got to go slow. And the preparation to launch a listing usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks. And that's gathering all the information about the property, HOA information, tax information, utility information, getting the proper visual assets, photo, video, aerial shot, and then organizing them, having expertly written, copyrighted material, remarks on the property that aren't just a recap of the data, but that are an emotional sales pitch to draw people into your property, because the first showing is online. And if you launch a property according to the former industry norms, and the property's not ready, the best buyers show up and they start asking questions, and the seller and the listing agent aren't ready to answer them efficiently. And those buyers lose interest real quick and they move on. And when they move on, now you're on the market and you're forced to look at price revisions and other alternatives to drive traffic. So if you're thinking about putting your property on the market, contact a Summit Sotheby's International Realty sales agent and learn about how we launch listings. We're doing it differently than our competitors, and it's working really well for them.
And like you had mentioned, most people are shopping online first before they even drive by your home, before they even walk through that door. So photography staging is more important than ever.
It is. There's no doubt about it. That's why they need to contact Osmond Design and make it happen. But the point there is that you're right. You only get that first chance, or that one chance to make a first impression. And if you miss it, then you're left with the second pool of buyers that I call the dealers. And they come in and they want to wheel and deal. And that's not where you want to be. That first pool of buyers are the new and waiting buyers. They're waiting for new inventory to come on the market. They're ready. They're emotional. They don't want to lose out. And if you position the property correctly, you can capture them. But if you miss them in that first 3-week period, then you're left with the dealers. And you'll deal with the dealers for about 4 or 5 more months. And then you enter the bottom feeders. And the bottom feeders are the ones that lowball you and make you the offers that you'll never accept. But they're out there because they're waiting for people that don't launch their properties correctly, that don't position them correctly, that don't look at those technical fundamentals and do things right. And they wait until the property's aged and it looks undesirable to other people. And then they come in and aggressively negotiate you.
Thomas, I 100% agree with you. The difference is really in the details and hiring the right real estate experts to be on your team and to watch out for you does not cost money. It makes you money. It saves you money more than ever.
No doubt. And that's why buyers and sellers have to look at the net, right? Sometimes people focus on the commission rate. What am I paying my advisor? And that's important. You need to know that. But at the end of the day, it's what am I netting from the transaction? If there's an advisor that can net you more, you'd be willing to pay them a commission, right? And so whenever you're interviewing any real estate advisor, the question is, how are you going to justify your value? And if we're not valuable enough for the fee that we're charging, then no consumer should hire us, right? They should hire us because they're paying us a fee, realizing that there's a return on that investment.
Absolutely. Okay, advice for investors. I know we've talked a lot about sellers and buyers and advice for them. If you are a real estate investor like myself, what's your best advice?
If I was a real estate investor right now, I would contact my tax professional about cost segregation and the accelerated depreciation opportunities for investment properties under the Big Beautiful Bill. It's new. A lot of people don't know about it. It's a game changer if you're paying taxes. It's a great way to reduce your tax liability. And what would you rather do? Send a big check to the IRS or buy an investment property? And that really, in a nutshell, is what it is right now. So take advantage of it. The tax code's complicated, but when you realize what it is and how to cash in on it, then it can work to your advantage. And sadly, a lot of sophisticated investors know, but then a lot of other people don't. So if you're out there listening, research it, and I think you'll see that I'm right. Buying an investment property right now could be the smartest thing you could do.
Perfect timing since, this last week was tax week. Unfortunately.
I know. It's never fun, is it?
Always good
the
to
first
write.
4 months of the year for the government. Is that what they say?
Always good to write a check, though, if you owe taxes. It's a good life, right? Yeah. We have Thomas Wright with Sotheby's Summit Realty on the show with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Thomas. How do people find you one last time?
Summit Sotheby's International Realty. Google it, get online, or call us 435-649-1884. You can always search for me, Thomas Wright, Utah Real Estate. If you do that search, you'll find me. Text me or call me, and I'll connect you with the right person.
Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores, signing off. We'll see you next week.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Yep, that's there. Is the gauge supposed to say empty? You can't trust those things. Don't worry, we're tethered for safety.
Asking the right question can greatly impact your future.
Are you certified for this? Technically, no.
Especially when it comes to your finances.
Do you have a question?
Are you a certified financial planner?
Yes, I'm a CFP professional.
CFP professionals are committed to acting in your best interest. That's why it's gotta be a CFP. Find your CFP professional at letsmakeaplan.org.
Spring Black Friday is on at the Home Depot. Save on grills and patio sets that will be sure to bring your hosting game up a notch. Fire up your feast with help from the Home Depot and save on grills. Like the Next Grill 4-burner propane gas grill was $249, now in special buy for $199. Or give everyone the best seat in the yard with the Hampton Bay Mayfield Park 4-piece conversation set for only $399. Save on grills and patio sets with low prices guaranteed during Spring Black Friday only at the Home Depot. Now through April 22nd, while supplies last. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.